The book is also full of my own personal stories of how I've developed all of these things over time and as a result of coaching thousands of people to be successfully self-employed. But let me tell you one story going all the way back to the very beginning of being unprepared and not knowing what the heck I was doing. I finished that first contract with my very first client back in 2004. And about a month before it ended, I realized, oh, shoot, I don't have anything else lined up. What am I going to do? So I went around and I interviewed with a lot of the boutique consulting agencies in the San Francisco Bay Area at the time. And I discovered that when you go through another agency, they keep anywhere from 30 to 40% of your revenue. And I thought, what would that work out to in my case? Because most of my projects are full-time. They last anywhere from 6 months to a year. And lo and behold, I figured out that that agency was going to make about $45,000 as a result of introducing me to a client. They weren't going to oversee my work. They weren't going to give me any methodologies. I already knew how to do everything that I was doing. And I thought to myself, that's nuts. I'm not going to give up $45,000 just for an introduction to a client. And you don't have to either. And it's all about building out your expertise, building out your network, keeping in touch with people. I call that keeping your network warm. Remember, building trusting relationships. And you have to get over the fear of reaching out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. So let's say that you haven't talked to somebody since you left a prior job maybe 5 years ago. Who cares? COVID time was weird and everybody's been busy. And one of the easiest way to reach out and reconnect to somebody, particularly if you haven't yet made the leap to being self-employed, is to say, you know what, I realize it's been a long time since we've connected. I'd love to reconnect, particularly because I'd like to pick your brain about something. I value your opinion and I'm thinking of doing something different with my career. And I'd love to have even a 15-minute conversation to get your perspective. I call that the flattery approach because it draws people in. It's a way to reconnect with somebody in your network and you're not selling anything. In fact, you're not even committing to being self-employed, but it's a wonderful way to spark a relationship that may have grown cold over the years.